Alrighty, we are live, we are on YouTube, and they finally fixed channel 10. So I believe we are also on channel 10.
Mr. Mayor, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Now we can.
Okay, I guess I just won't use headphones. We are here November 10th special session for City of Glenwood Springs to award the contract for South Midland reconstruction. If anybody who's an attendee, wow, big list tonight. But if you're calling in or you do want to call in for the good of the order, it's *9. With that, Catherine, could you call roll?
Willman,
Here.
Wuso,
Here.
Kemp,
Here.
Godis,
Here.
Davis, Stepp,
Here.
Hershey.
Yes.
All right, I'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
Flag of the United States of America,
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under
nation,
God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. All right, well, it's that time. Item number 4, the award of the South Midland construction contract. Terry, I think.
Good evening, Council. I'd like to introduce Ryan Johnson, who is our project manager for the South Midland project, and he will be giving our presentation tonight.
Yeah, so I'm just, happy to at least get to this point in this project. It's been a long time coming, so I'm happy to present this stuff here tonight. We had the bid opening on November 3rd, and as you guys probably saw in your packet, Gould Construction was the low bid for that. And we were pretty pleased to have five respondents on the actual bid, and coming in under the engineer's estimate was also a positive thing. So I think with that, we didn't see any reason why we wouldn't go forward and recommend Gould Construction for this contract. As you guys know, this project has funding from numerous sources, one being DOLA grant, Garfield County Build grant, and obviously our city A&I funds. And I wanted to really also note that, the city will be responsible for any funding beyond the grant amount that was awarded to us. So that the grant amount is the grant amount, and that's it. So we're not anticipating that, but that is an important aspect to be aware of. I don't know if there's much more to go over as far as the actual bid itself. But I guess from there we can maybe open it to any questions that may be out there.
Go ahead, Deborah.
I just wanted to take a moment before you guys talk to thank Ryan for all of his hard work getting it ready. And on the same note, Richard, who I think suffered greatly with Ryan and Terry trying to get all of the right of way we needed. And of course, thank you, Council, for all the wonderful lobbying you guys did to get this grant for us, making this project possible. I know it's going to be a hard year and a half, but we're super excited and it's going to be wonderful.
All right.
Assuming
You're cutting in a little bit, Deborah. I don't know if anybody else heard that, but I think we got like 95% of it. Okay. Well, do we have any presentation other than just ready to take the boat?
Yeah, well, if there's any questions specifically on any plan stuff, we're happy to answer that. But that was kind of it, because I know you guys have seen this a few times at this point. So
We do have a couple. We have a bunch of hands that went up like literally as I was asking that question. So Charlie, Shella, and then Paula.
Are we going to talk after the, if assuming we approve the bid, are we going to talk about the schedule a little bit? Or do you want to talk about that now, Mr. Mayor?
I would love to talk about the schedule. It's a great question.
So Ryan, I looked at the schedule that was sent out in the agenda packet and some was confusing. What, can you just give me I don't need you to go through each detail, but kind of thumbnail when we're actually going to see vehicles on the road, construction vehicles on the road.
Yeah, so, and maybe I can share that document so we can all see it at the same time here. Are you guys able to see that on your end?
Not quite yet, Ryan.
There we go.
Here it is.
Okay. So mostly what I was trying to just show here is, we're sitting here and assuming we get council approval, we'll go submit a document to CDOT to get concurrence to award and a notice to proceed. And that takes a little bit of time on their end. So from there, once we get that NTP document, we can award the contract formally to Gould. And then Gould will be able to work through their actual baseline schedule or preliminary schedule for this project. So at that point in time, we'll have more detail about exactly when we'll see people on the road. But we did in the bid documents say that we need to at least start some sort of construction by December 14th. Exactly what that looks like at that point in time, is still TBD because, we're still getting in the process of getting Gould on board. So we'll know more about that as we can move forward. But that's what I was kind of trying to show here is that an anticipated start date is, anywhere from the 28th to the 14th, but exactly in what capacity that is out there, is still to be determined.
And Ryan, follow-up question on that. Once, assuming we award the bid to Gould tonight, is there a form contract that we already have, or do we have to negotiate a contract?
No, the contract is the standard construction contract for the city, which was included as part of the bid documents.
And Deborah, I noticed that Carl's not here. Did we solve some of the issues that we had with the 27th Street Bridge contract?
I would say Richard is here.
Oh, sorry, Richard. I saw you and didn't even think about that. So Richard, do you understand what I'm asking about the problems we have at 27th Street, about the delay issues and that kind of thing?
Yeah, well, and Ryan was, I think, more involved in some of the scheduling milestone negotiations, but one of the areas that we pushed on was kind of the dispute resolution provisions in the standard CDOT form. And we had a lot of the kind of binding arbitration and the panel of CDOT assigned mediators removed just because that is so burdensome and expensive on local governments. So there's still, a pre-litigation type process included, but it would be much shorter and less onerous than what we went through in 27th Street.
So we solved as much as we could. We solved those issues.
Correct.
Okay, thanks, Richard. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Can I just jump in while we have Richard kind of going? I have a couple legal questions. Sorry to jump my turn in line, Paul and Shelley, but when the Grand Avenue Bridge was done, there was incentives and disincentives, liquidated damages, but there's also incentives on the front end to get it done early. And we have a little bit of budget to play around with. Don't take advantage of that, Mr. Gould. But do we have in this contract? One of the things that the lane rental fees, I think, for 27th Street were just not, well, maybe they were commensurate with it, but the liquidated damages was just not enough with the CDOT contract to really give anybody enough disincentive to just blow deadlines. And conversely, I like the carrot approach as well. If the Goulds get done, potentially if we were the contract and the Goulds get done a month early, I'd love for them to be able to have some incentive to do that. So can you talk a little bit about that?
I do know that those incentives and disincentives are in there. I think Ryan was a little bit more involved in precisely how those are structured. So I could kick it over to him.
Yeah, I can speak to that a little bit. And so, you know, we've structured the incentive, disincentive around the lane rental fee itself. So basically, you know, as we had spoke previously, we have the pot of money that we're deducting off of if they're taking lanes during peak hour periods. So as that you know deducts from that pot of money, if there's money left over at the end of the day, that will be the contractors. That's the incentive, and then the vice versa if they're needing more time or they've used more time, then yeah, the lane rental fee will continue to accrue. Now that in itself is somewhat separate from liquidated damages at the end of the contract if you're going over the contract time. So those are two different aspects or two different items that I guess that would be the disincentive portion on the time going along.
Okay, thanks. Paula.
My question kind of revolves back to having been in a transportation committee meeting a few months ago when they were talking about this project, and it came up during that meeting that some of the commission was concerned about bike access on South Midland, and I just wondered if this structure or this bid included whatever recommendations or changes that they were looking for, particularly at that roundabout.
So I don't know if Terry, you want to jump in on that one or not. I guess I wasn't part of the commission meeting, but
Yeah, I'll jump in. So, you know, Ryan and I, they did have a list of things that they wanted to address. And we did initially put some of those ideas in front of our consultant. At that time, the consultant felt like, you know, we were so far along with our with our review process that we would end up, you know, having more design fees and then delaying our process. So we agreed that we would look at those things again as a change order. And then today, Ryan and I met with Linda and Steve Smith from the Bicycle Advocacy Group out on site, and we walked the corridor from essentially the intersection of Park West, and then went further to the south to the roundabout. And many of the issues that they were concerned about have really been addressed in the plans. They are still concerned about bicyclists in lane in the roundabout as they go up and down the 4-mile corridor. And so what we came to with that intersection was to potentially add some signage that would alert drivers that the bicyclists will likely be in lane as they approach that intersection, and then sharrows in the roundabout so that vehicles are more aware as they go around that, you know, the bicyclists, there really aren't any pedestrian facilities on 4-mile roads, so they really are in lane, and the safest places for them to be in lane and kind of blocking the traffic behind them. So I think that's where we ended up. It's not in the contract now, but you know, those are small things to add into our painting contract at the end.
Anything else, Paula?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you, Terry.
Just the way the presentation is, I can't always see everybody, so sorry about that. Yeah, I echo that. I know a lot of people come screaming down 4-mile and just go right through that intersection, heading to Park West because they have to beat some Strava time. And so, you know, I think it's important for people to know that it's going to be a different intersection from this point on. So I
We
hear.
think the safer one.
Shelley, go ahead.
Yep. Thanks, Terry. Yeah, I agree. I think that intersection is going to be safer with the roundabout there. I'm really happy to see that. And it's great to see this project get to this point that we're ready to get it started. I'm so happy to see the sidewalk along there. I know that was a bit of a stretch, but I'm really glad that it's going in and we're going to have those safety improvements along Midland. So also great job on the engineer's estimate. It looks like it came in kind of spot on with bids on higher and lower. So that's great. I have a question on the drainage on the project. I just kind of quickly perused through the plans and I see what looks like, you know, drainage structures, since we have had some, you know, with the old road, there was some issues with water and we had that collapse a couple of years ago for part of the side of the road. So I realize that we're improving drainage. I guess I'm wondering, A, do you think it's meeting everything that we need along there? And B, are we going to be in compliance with what's coming down the pike for us on the phase 2 MS4 permitting for stormwater? So I guess that's.
Ryan, do you want to answer, or I can jump in with concepts if you want to bring up the
Yeah,
plans?
certainly. You go concepts, and then I can get into a little detail there.
Okay. So in general, you know, we recognize that we had a large amount of drainage that potentially came down 4 Mile Road. And so, you know, it was difficult to figure out how to capture that and not overload our system. So having that additional land from the school district there on the, I guess it would be the south side of the school, really helped us a lot in 2 ways. It allowed us to detain the water that's coming down from the 4 Mile corridor, and you know, kind of it quickly and in a large volume, and then to meter it out into our system in a smaller size culvert that we could, you know, then take over to 4 Mile Creek. So, you know, I think it, or sorry, that's 3 Mile Creek on that side.
Wow.
So I think that, you know, that was the general concept, that we were able to detain the water. And I do think that it has a water quality benefit as well as a system capacities benefit. And then we release into 3 Mile Creek. And then there is another, you know, release point at Hager Lane where the city has a piece of property there that we channel water to and then take it out. Ryan, do you want to add any details?
Yeah. On that outfall, we will have a water quality vault up there, so that water will be treated prior to release to the Roaring Fork there.
Oh, great. Okay, great. Thank you.
I just had a couple more questions. You know, I appreciate all the engineering that went into it, and I geeked out on literally like every page of this, even though I don't know what any of it means. But one thing I didn't see was any mention, and maybe I just missed it, but what are we doing about landscaping for the roundabout, or just, you know, are we putting in at least some native grasses or anything there?
Yeah, so we are in that set that was attached. We didn't attach the landscape. There's like 5 pages, but we are doing some landscape internal to that island. There'll be some trees and some rocks and some small flowers and things like that in there. So there will be some beautification there. And additionally, adjacent to the school's playground, there's a little bit of a buffer landscape strip there as well. So there is some landscaping included in the contract down in that area.
Okay. And you know, one of the things that I've spoken, I think, about this before on the dais, and I've spoken with Terry about this, but you know, one of the things that, you know, we sometimes we don't, I think we've done the beautification of some of these projects, and it's a great way to finish off that last little bit. So I'm glad to hear there's some landscape. And I think the other area for potentially not a lot of money, and I've spoken to a number of homeowners along that have that really, really junky fence. There's like literally not been one board that's been replaced in the 15 years I've lived here. that backs up to Midland. And, I'm hesitant a little bit, being kind of a small government guy, to say, hey, we should replace this fence. But we did do a PVC fence when we did the trail, the Atkins Canal Trail. There's a connection to Park West, and we did pay for, I believe at that time, we paid for all of the cost of that fence. And it's not a lot of fence, but it does buttress both of the neighbors there. And that was done over 10 years ago, and it looks as new as the day it was put in. And that back fence looks really, really bad. And I know that it's partly the property owner's responsibility, but that's like probably a 200 yards of really just junky visual thing that anybody who goes up to Sunlight, goes up the 4 Mile corridor. I mean, there's a lot of people, visitors, tourists, and residents alike, that, that is an impression. And, probably for not a lot of money, we could possibly, the homeowners I've talked to have been very willing to engage in a conversation if we wanted to do something and split the cost with them. Because normally when you need to replace a fence between two neighbors, you talk to your neighbor and you figure out what it's going to cost and how it's going to be done, and you split the cost because you realize the fence needs to get done. Well, we are essentially the neighbor for those like 8 homes, I think they are, maybe 9 homes. So I don't know if we need to act on it tonight. I'd suggest that we don't, and maybe be something we bring forward. But we're probably talking, $10,000, $20,000 when everything is mobilized. I just like to keep that in front of council as a potential to engage those homeowners and, have it kind of be a nice, attractive, semi-permanent PVC structure that folks are, willing to look at. So, if that's something that the council would maybe entertain at a future point, I don't know that it needs to be added tonight to the existing contract that we're about to approve. $10,000 or $20,000 on a 13 point whatever $1 million contract is kind of a small thing to even mention at this point. But I do want to bring that up. And really what my fear has been the last couple of years as we've been talking about this is one of the homeowners was just going to finally, bite the bullet and replace one of those fences. And then we'd have to replace a fence that just got put in. But fortunately, none of those fences have been replaced in 30 years. So the good luck continues. So that's my comment. I also want to give the Goulds. I promoted them to panelists. I saw the Junior, I think, had his hand up here a little bit ago. I'd love to hear from them just about how they see the project and just any comments or maybe questions they have for us about expectations or timing. So,
and Jonathan, could you have them talk a little bit about the timing too and their thoughts on that? Thank you.
Absolutely. And anybody else jump in with questions for the contractor, potential contractor as well. So Mark Gould, Junior or Senior, you have the floor.
So perhaps it's a little bit premature to say thank you, but I'd like to recognize everybody in staff that has worked tirelessly to get this project going. I know that it's been years in the making and incredibly well done to finally get this thing off the board here. And a great thanks to SGM as well for getting this thing going. We know that we have to start by December 14th and plan on starting December 14th and or earlier. This is going to be a stressful project, but we're thrilled to be a part of it. We have a lot of local contractors that are going to be involved in the job, and I think that care for everybody's neighbor is really going to make a difference with this one. The opening up the meeting to talk about litigation, Charlie, always makes me a little bit nervous as the first comments, but I think we've got this one under control. One clarifying comment that I would like to make in regards to the incentive is that the incentive is set up for us not to work during peak hours. There actually is no incentive to finish early. I know that there's, based on some comments, that there's a lot of listeners out there, and I just wanted to make it clear that we do not have an incentive to finish early. Might like one, might not like one. It's going to be a hard project, but I don't want somebody going, hey, if they were going to get paid extra, why didn't they finish early? So we're thrilled to be a part of it. We're going to make it as painless as possible. That being said, it will be stressful for all involved, and I just want to thank the ability for this group and staff to be able to get outside funding, to be able to get this project off the ground. It's going to be an incredible piece of infrastructure for our community. and entryway for tourists to get up to Sunlight, with affecting a lot of residents. So thank you for your consideration, and I hope you pick us to be the contractor.
Is there anybody else have any questions or comments for the Goulds? Well, I just want to say thank you. You guys gave a very competitive bid. You know, it allows us to, you know, redirect some of those funds that are under the engineering estimates to other city priorities, which, you know, possibly will be other items that you might bid on in the future. So thank you very much for putting the time and effort and energy it takes to understand it. I understand, you know, understand where Charlie's coming from. I'll just say is that we did get into a, we didn't have a great experience on the 27th Street Bridge. I think it turned out great. But boy, it about killed our staff, and it really was, it turns out to be, it was a minor impact on the residents, but you know, no one likes any impacts. And so we know you guys know us, and we know that you guys are going to work really, really hard to avoid any even hint of a conversation about that. I would say, you know, I'm pretty sensitive. I live on Midland. My property faces, it directly abuts Midland, and I see buses and school traffic all the time, especially now. A lot of parents don't feel comfortable putting their kids on buses, and so there's a lot more traffic I've observed going to Sopers Elementary. You know, Mark, you have young kids. I know you understand, but gosh, you know, anything, and there will be times, obviously, but boy, that's super disruptive to a school day now and hopefully next year when we don't have COVID. So just, I know you guys are conscious of it, but I'll just keep saying that's kind of the paramount times that I think everybody's going to be, you know, guitar string nerve plucking. So I guess just, you know, that's my comment. Any other comments or questions for the potential contractor? Tony, did you get your questions answered? Charlie, please.
It's very nice, Jonathan. Thank you.
I move we approve and award the bid to Gould Construction for $13,168,962.65.
Second.
All right, it's been, Charlie took my motion from me, but it's been moved by Charlie and seconded by Paula.
I'll withdraw my motion, Mr. Mayor. I'll let you make it.
Actually, you know what? I know that's like dumb and petty, but I would
No,
love
I didn't think about it. That makes sense. Go ahead.
Paula, do you allow that to happen so I can make the motion?
Absolutely.
I move that we award the contract for South Midland reconstruction to Gould Contracting.
I'll second.
All right.
Not to exceed.
Not to exceed.
Not to exceed the amount of whatever's in the staff report, because I can't get around. Any further comments?
$13,168,962.65.
And 65 cents. Yes.
Very nice.
Any further comments? One last thing. Thank you so much, staff, for getting $8 million worth of grants. This project is it's fantastic because of that and the hard work that everybody's done.
Yeah, and all the hard work, the engineering for Ryan and Terry for all the work they put in to get this where we are today. So.
Absolutely. All right, Catherine, let's call the question.
Hershey,
Yes. Wait.
Steph,
Yeah.
Yes.
Godus,
Yes.
Coke,
Yes.
Wusso,
Yes.
Willman.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Terry.
Hey,
And Ryan and everyone else.
Hey, guys, one more thing, just in case you're interested, and I know you are, we are having our public meeting on Thursday. We're having 2 sessions, one in the middle of the day and one at 6:30. We've invited Mayor Godus to participate if he chooses to. So we'd love to see some or all of you there. So looking forward to this project. It's going to be a great project.
Are those both announced meetings so more than one of us can attend?
Yeah, I believe so. Catherine, did we?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I just want to say, I got the, I don't know if it went out to all the residents or just the residents in South Glenwood and maybe 4 Mile about these meetings, but thank you very much. They were completely and equally in Spanish and English, and that's nice to see. So I appreciate that. I know we've also hired a PR firm that is helping us on this, and I think that's going to be great, and it's really needed. So I appreciate Stroke coming out and hitting the grade strong with that communication. Anything else for the good of the order?
One more thing.
Yes, Tony.
I just wanted to thank Mark and Mark now that we've Mark and Mark Gould. Now that we've approved the contract, I know this is a difficult thing, but it's so great that we a local firm that has done a good job. Not to criticize other jobs, but I think they're going to do a great job. Thank you.
I agree. All right, if there's nothing else, I'll hear a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye or raising your hand.
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good
Thank
night.
you.